I wanted to make a video response to Sam's video on Are You a Boy or a Girl? I love your video, Sam, and as soon as I saw the title, I knew I was going to like this one. And like I said in my text comment that I posted to it, everything you said pretty much I was right on with. It's similar things that I've experienced, and for like the longest time I always felt like I was the only one, and even though you're not, you feel that way. I mean, everybody does, I guess. It's just the human condition, the nature of the way our minds work. We are somewhat egotistical beings at times, but you always think, oh, it's only me. And since I've been on YouTube the past few months, also it being at such a critical time in my life after losing my mom, and just doing lots of soul searching, it's been so great to be on here and discover that there's so many people who are gender variant, gender queer, gender fucked, whatever you want to say, and of course transgender, pre and post op, or any variant in between. It's been so refreshing and comforting and encouraging, enlightening, educational. I could go on and on. It's just been so great, and it's made me feel so much more confident about myself. And I love the fact that there are so many young people, and I don't mean this as a slam, I'm just saying it's so great for me to see people in their late teens and early 20s that are so open to this and are out to their families, that are exploring this, that are not afraid to talk about it. I mean, you're putting your face out to the world on YouTube, and not everyone in the world watches YouTube, but it's a pretty popular thing, and just even if one person watches it, exposing yourself in that way is so admirable, and I'm really blown away by all of you, and I thank all of you for taking the time to share your stories with the rest of us, because it does help. It helps you to feel better about yourself. It helps you to feel safe. It helps you to learn about yourself more. And I don't know, I just thank you for your video. I agree with what you said. I do think that gender is pretty much a construct. I can remember even when I was little, I didn't understand why people always said, girls have to play with dolls and boys have to like trucks and baseball and all those little plastic kitchenette things they make for girls, and that if a boy played with it, he was a sissy, and then if you rode your big wheels or got dirty, you were a tomboy. And why couldn't you just be you? Why do you have to be a tomboy? Why can't you just be you and do what you like to do? I never understood that. And the whole, girls wear pink and boys wear blue, and people get so obsessed with that, and they have to know, now that you can know the sex of the babies, they can decorate their room and, festoon it with gender appropriate decorations. What the hell is that? You don't even know who that person is yet, and you're already, creating that little box for them to fit inside of, and they haven't even exited your womb yet. I know the intentions are, well meant, but I first started to really think about and learn about this stuff when I went to school, and I, took women's studies classes, and, got to put, words and theories and concepts to things that I've been feeling my whole life. But really at the age of 34 now, it's like I'm like rediscovering things about myself, or finally feeling like it's okay to be the way that I am, to look the way that I am, to feel the way that I am, or do about my body, or what I want. I have things to get over, but for so long I beat myself up over it. You just say, well, why don't you fit in? Or you sometimes wish you could be like other people. It would just be easier, even though it wouldn't be true to yourself. I can remember being, I think, a sophomore in high school, rather, and, I was not a femigirl at all. I wasn't necessarily as masculine as I am now, but, I was not a girly girl at all. And I can remember feeling that pressure of, like, why don't boys really like me, and why don't I fit in? And I can remember getting my ears pierced. I think I was like 16, because I thought that would make me look more feminine and more appealing. So I did get my ears pierced, and I don't know if it worked or not. I don't really wear earrings that much anymore. I'm not opposed to that. If I do, when I do once in a blue moon, it looks like a stud or something like that. No pun intended. Ha ha ha. So, I mean, I can remember feeling that and sitting in classes and looking at other girls my age and just being like, you know, why aren't I like them? Why don't I care about makeup? Why don't I care about purses and shoes? And, you know, I just I never got any of it. And yet at the same time, I wasn't one of these girls that like totally hung with the boys and had a million boyfriends. Mostly all my friends were always girls. And I didn't feel necessarily akin to the boys either. I always felt like a third choice or in the middle, maybe some of each, or I didn't know what the hell I was. And then the first time I heard the term genderqueer was about a year ago from a kind of former friend. And it was said in a disparaging manner. And I thought, oh, well, you know, and at the time I respected this person's opinions. And I was like, oh, genderqueer, what is that? You know, I'm not genderqueer. I don't know what that is. I didn't really know what the hell it was. We didn't really talk about it. She just made a flippant comment that all these kids today were genderqueer and nobody wanted to just be gay or lesbian anymore, and everything was so fluid. And I think to someone in their, 40s, it was just scary. And so that's the first time I heard that term until I came back onto, was initiated into the, world of YouTube and really got a feel for what it is, and then was quite surprised and maybe excited and scared and a lot of other things to maybe think like, well, maybe this is what I am. Not that I need to slap another label on myself. I don't like labels, but the fact remains that we use labels in this world to distinguish ourselves from each other, to feel, part of a group. It's just the way our brains work. We have to categorize things, so it is what it is. But I really kind of like this term. I mean, I do still identify as a lesbian, but I definitely feel genderqueer. And I've said this before in my other videos. So the whole "are you a boy or a girl" thing. I also like what you said about why do people ask you that? Like, what does that have to do with anything? How about, are you a person? Are you a good, kind person? Do you give a crap about the world or your neighbor or making a contribution to anything? Do you ever think outside of yourself? Those are much better questions. So I agree. They're more concerned about what's between your legs and who are you sexually attracted to. And also, as you said, by knowing what's between your legs, supposedly, then they know how they should relate to you, instead of observing a person and taking the cues from that person's behavior rather than their genitals. So I really liked what you said there. And also what you said about your body, like sometimes being comfortable with it, sometimes not. I have that same feeling. The past couple of years, I've been really feeling like I just want my breasts off. But then the other part of me, that's like the feminist dyke in me, is like, no, how could you do that? Don't mutilate your body. And I don't mean to use that term in any disrespect to any of the, post-op FTMs that have had that. I don't think there's anything wrong with the surgery. I'm just saying you have all these messages in your mind from things you've been taught to say that's bad. Why would you do that to yourself? And then there's part of me that thinks, okay, this is the body that I have. Deal with it. I've dealt with it for this long, and I can continue to. But there's definitely things I'd like to change about it. And that is one of them that I go back and forth with. But I'm too much of a chicken shit, and I don't think I would do it. And the permanence of it scares me, because there are times that I like having breasts, and I'm sure lovers would like the fact that I have breasts. But if I ever decide to do it, it's totally my choice, and whoever would be in my life at that time would have to deal with it. Anyway, that's just the way I feel about it. But I don't think there's anything wrong with considering yourself FTM or trans or anything, and not having any surgical alterations at all, or chemical, by like hormones or anything else. And I've seen some videos where people, have felt that they were discriminated against because they didn't do that. And I think that's really a shame. I think we need to be supportive of each other and embrace all the colors of being transgendered and genderqueer. So thanks again for making that great video. I really loved it. I'm proud of you.